Assalamu alaikum, guys. Welcome back to another episode. Sheikh, how you doing?
Walaikum salam, alhamdulillah, I'm good, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen.
It's good to have you back again.
Good to be back.
How do you feel about last episode, I believe?
All of the episodes are okay for me. We're going from strength to strength, and we ask Allah to accept everything and to forgive us for any, mishaps.
Agreed. Inshallah. Last time we spoke about technology, and it was a good episode, but I feel like we missed out on artificial intelligence, so that's going to be the topic of today, inshallah. But before we jump into that, I thought let's go talk about the technology. And we did mention earlier in the last episode about how it can be a distraction, but we didn't have time for Sheikh to tell us about the story of the caravan, I believe, with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So are we touching on that really quickly?
Well, there were a number of issues concerning the companions, may Allah be pleased with them, being tried with situations where things happened where they were distracted by the allurement of the dunya. And the reality of the dunya is it just distracts. This is not the goal and this is not the objective. Mm-hmm. The tremendous hadith that the Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is that every morning when a person wakes up and he goes out of his house, he is a vendor, a businessman. He is a seller of his own soul. He will either free his soul or bring it to its ruin during that day. So now we pray Dhuhr and Asr is in front of us, inshallah. So what have we done up until this point? Well, you are a vendor of your own soul. If you get up for Fajr, if you make dhikr, if you obey your mother, your father, and you do the obedience of Allah, at the end of the day, you have freed your soul for that day from the hellfire. You emancipated it. But if you don't pray, if you drink, if you get high, if you are having bad thoughts and you're a criminal, then you have brought your soul to ruin. And every day of your life is like that. So a lot of people are distracted. A lot of us, the nature of the dunya. Allah said in the Quran that we should know, إِنَّمَا الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا لَعِبٌ وَلَهٌ وَزِينَةٌ وَتَفَاخُرٌ وَتَكَاثُرٌ بَيْنَكُمْ فِي الْأَوْلَادِ وَالْأَمْوَالِ. You people have to know that the dunya is nothing but playing around. It's zina, it's lahu, it's just games. And it's your mutual accumulation of wealth and your mutual competing with each other who has children. That's the reality of the dunya. Mm-hmm. The dunya is not the place and it's not what Allah created us for. It is a test. And everything in it is a test. The beautiful woman, the girlfriend, the drugs, the get high, the party, following your desires, you and me. The dunya is a fitna for you, Akhi. It's a fitna for me. Our children, our wives, even a person who's trying to practice and be upright, the dunya is here and it will make you forget. He says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the dunya is hulwatun khadira. It is like an alluring green pasture. When you see it from far away, it looks beautiful, but when you get up on it, you see its reality. In there is pool, akramakumullah, dead bodies, the pig defecated, the cow, this man's leg is over there. This is the reality of the dunya. It stinks. So the Muslim is in the dunya and he navigates through it and he avoids the trap holes. And as we're speaking about artificial intelligence and things like that, believe me, one of the biggest weapons of a shaitan to make people lose sight of the reality of the dunya is technology. But we have to remember that the Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that I never left a fitna more detrimental on men other than women. They are a big fitna of the dunya. That doesn't mean women are bad or no, but having daughters and raising them, fitna. It doesn't always have to be negative. You have to take care of them mentally, spiritually, what they need. And then you look at the fitna of the women in terms of, evil and stuff like that. The way they dress, the way they don't dress. How many of our shabab, how many of us, the other sex, we have relationships that are not correct and so forth and so on. Mm-hmm. So everything about the dunya from the beginning to the end, fitna. There are some good things in the dunya, like the masajid, like dawah, brotherhood, Islam. But really the majority of it, and that's why the hadith said the most beloved places to Allah are the masjids. And the worst places to Allah are the marketplaces. Why? Because in the marketplace, you forget about why you were worshiping, what you were created for. So people are stealing, lying, swearing, selling faulty products. So this thing about the dunya and being distracted is a major problem, and one of the biggest. Look, I have my phone right here. I can't leave home without it. And if I realize it's not in my pocket, I panic, anxiety. I have to go and look for it. Not only because I have sensitive information in it, my bank information, pictures of my daughters, things like that. I have a lot of valuable info, but I also need it in my life. So fitna, drama, may Allah Azza wa Jal help us.
Well, I'm glad you touched on the phone, because we were going to get into that a bit later, but we could touch on it now. One of the ideas behind, I was watching a podcast with Elon Musk, very famous man. He was saying that the phone is basically an extension of us at this point. He says we're pretty much cyborgs already, because we can't leave our house without this phone, and if we do, we have a missing limb syndrome. We feel like something's not right. So we have become really attached to this kind of technology, and although it does benefit us, we should sometimes try and practice to put it down and whatnot.
It's true, man. My job is about the Deen. And anytime I'm looking for an ayat, the tafsir of an ayat, a hadith, anything I look, hey, Siri is her name, Siri?
Siri.
Hey, Siri, this, that, man, and it's right there, just like that. So if I lose my phone, I won't have my phone, I don't have access to my phone, it makes research for me that much more difficult. So yesterday, someone gave me this phone as a gift about at least a year ago. I haven't transferred my own old information to this one because I don't know how to do it. And every time I try, I don't remember the passwords and I don't remember all that stuff. So I'm always struggling. I don't have the patience for it. So I just stuck with my old phone. Now that I've transferred everything over to this phone, I still have some apps that I need to, and my life, I have anxiety because I haven't been able to get my bank information over here. On the other phone, I put my finger on it, I press it down, and I could pay. This doesn't have that feature. So now I have to figure out how I do this. They want me to do face recognition. I don't know how to do that. So I'm still stuck. Maybe you can help me with this.
Inshallah.
Yeah. One of the problems in Leeds for me is my children are here. So I rely on Allah and then them for things like that. So I need youngsters who know what's going on. Now I want to make this point. As an older person, I don't know about all of this stuff and what's going on. So we definitely have to get joined together with the older generation and the younger generations to get the most out of using this technology in terms of the good of it and avoiding the evil of it.
I agree with that completely. But yeah, so when we talk about technology and how we're reliant on it we are, and how much benefit it has to us, but where do we kind of draw the line? Because I feel like as humans, once we find something that maybe we're good at, we pursue it and pursue it. So this whole idea, this generation anyways, the technology is advancing very quick. But where do we draw the line and say that it is kind of need to slow down? But obviously it won't. Technology is going to keep going until the point of artificial intelligence. And then I was watching that same podcast, Elon Musk, and he discussed the idea of sentient beings.
What?
Sentient being. So it would be a kind of computer that has consciousness and can keep expanding and becoming smarter and smarter to the point where humans are dumb, essentially, which is what he said. We would be unnecessary in that sense of they would be better than us. So he's trying to develop this company, and everything I say, I may be wrong, but this is from what I've read. But yeah, from Neuralink, it is his company that he's founded. They're trying to basically plant microchips into humans. First off, they're trying to develop things that can help people with brain injuries, back injuries, or he's even said, I don't know if it's true, but he said that if people have lost their eyesight, they will be able to recover it because of this microchip. So how do you feel about that?
No, all of that is cool in the game. If they can do that, this is a benefit to Bani Adam. Someone lost their eyesight, and there's technology that can help their eyesight be regained, bi'idhnillah, through this technology is an amazing thing. I grew up with a very weak left eye, and then it rectified itself, and I got hit in my eye by the American police when I was young, and they made effectively my eye blind. So I'm really only using one eye, and that eye is weakening. So I went to the optometrist, who's a Muslim sister from Manchester, the sister of a good friend of mine, who I made Hajj with. They found that my retina was detached, and I didn't even know. I had to go to the hospital immediately. I had to go immediately, emergency, like perform surgery on me. They did laser surgery immediately because they said, if you get hit in the head with a ball, if you get in a car accident, you jolted, if you fall down, that retina would detach totally and you'll be legally blind. So I went and they did that surgery. How did they know that? Technology, man. If I was in Mirpur, if I was in Lahore, if I was in rural Pindi or something like that, Kotli, whatever, where they don't have that stuff like that. Our sisters, our women, aunties, these people were pregnant. They go and give them a scan and they say, oh, there's something we're worried about. That's technology. Anybody in his right mind would not and should not be opposed to that.
Yeah.
But the problem now is the devious, dubious desires of the human beings to subdue other people, to make them subservient, to make money, and to destroy humanity, and to get rid of Deen and the place of Allah, God, and all of that in the equation now. That's the problem. And as we said before, I think we said that, a lot of times art resembles life. Yeah. So the artist, he paints a mural of the landscape in the Lake District, or a lot of these movies and these plays, they come up with this stuff. And there were movies, and always movies about this. There was a movie that Will Smith played in about robot, iRobot. Yeah. So they're letting us know these things that they're dealing with, where robots now stop being robots, and one robot starts feeling, and he starts,
sentient being.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that's what it was.
From my understanding, yeah.
Yeah. So, can that happen? Can a robot actually start to develop emotions where they could start doing that? I don't know. I'm not into technology like that. But what I do know is that all of these things that are present in the life of a human being in the dunya, the Deen is the vehicle that he has to ride and drive to navigate through this stuff. And as Allah said in the Quran, وَنَزَّلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابِ تِبْيَانًا لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ. We have revealed to you in this book, Muhammad, that which makes everything explained. So how do we deal with these things? No matter what the technology is. Our religion, even though these things weren't present that time, at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, our religion is going to explain the halal and the haram, the benefits and the harms, and why you should or you shouldn't do these things. So we have a religious responsibility to keep up with this stuff. But at the same time, simultaneously, we have a religious responsibility as well to utilize it for the betterment of mankind.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. And then one of the other things I wanted to tell you about this Neuralink is that one of the features that they're planning on having... Actually, before I get into
that... Pentagon.
Pentagon?
I thought you said the Pentagon.
No. One of the main reasons that Elon Musk is saying he wants to develop this is because he believes that artificial intelligence is not regulated at the moment, and it won't be for a long time. So he believes things can get out of hand, which is one of the main reasons he wants to develop this thing. One of the other features of this Neuralink chip is that we would become incredibly smart, essentially. We would be connected to... We'd be as smart as our phones, essentially. We would have that in our brain. So me and you would be able to communicate without opening our mouths. We wouldn't have to speak. We'd be able to send messages just like that. So it is a bit scary, but are they benefits, or is that...
Like I said, brother, judging from the history of Bani Adam, for every 1,000 people that Allah created, Prophet Muhammad said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 999 are going to the hellfire. So that means that these sciences and technologies and they usually are going to be used for the purposes that are harmful. There's some good in this stuff. I'm telling you, brother. I saw in the internet YouTube channel or something, I don't remember what it was, the child swallowed a coin, a pound or something, and the doctor put something down the child's throat, and he can look at the same time and maneuver the thing. Something as simple as that. It's not a robot, but it's the science and the technology of the robot, whatever they make these things, but it's on that level. And they were able to take that thing out of the child's body. Well, they couldn't do that time before. So there's a lot of benefit in this stuff, but the scary part is, what blows us away is evil people who get their hands on it. So all of those shows, Spider-Man, all of those movies where you have the villain and he's always doing something bad with technology to rule the world, to hurt people. Where does that theme come from? That theme comes from life imitating art. There's always the black side, the dark side, those who want to hurt. And then there are always the side of the people who are just really trying to help. So have you been to Pakistan?
Yeah.
Going to Pakistan on an airplane is nothing short of a miracle. This pilot gets into some room where he's not on a plane, but he learns how to fly a plane on the ground in a room like this. What happens if it's an emergency and it's a real life emergency, and he trains how to respond so that when he's in real time, he reacts and he saves the lives of the people on the ground and in the air by Allah's permission from technology. So the ayat of the Quran, everyone knows, whoever saves a life, it's as if he saved the whole life, the world. Whoever takes a life, as if he killed the whole world. Those submarines, remember a few months ago, a year, time's flying, submarine went down, it was out of contact. No radar, it's going down. But they tried. Recently in Morocco, little boy fell down the dry well. Mm-hmm. I think every mother, every parent, I was terrified, man. I was hoping the little kid would get out. Now, unfortunately, in Morocco, it's a third world country. They don't have access to the technology. The kid died. Did he die because of lack of technology? He died because of the qadr of Allah. But sometimes the lack of stuff can be the reason behind it. So, technology, man. You remember those kids? They were soccer players and they went into the cave. And they went into a cave and then it rained. Those monsoon rains. And the rain came and trapped them in the cave. And the whole world sent specialists to get him out. Specialists from Australia, from America, from Britain, Navy SEALs, all of these people. And they went in there, brother, and they got those kids out one by one. They swam them underwater out. They brought in tanks to put on their faces, and they brought them out because they couldn't get out. Technology, brother, saves lives. But technology at the same time destroys lives. It makes life itself easy in some ways, but very detrimental and dangerous and negative and dark in other ways.
Like you said, it can get dark, because my next point was going to be that one of the other features that he's speculating about is that you can have a safe state. So you can pass whatever consciousness and memories you have in this brain into another body. And I know it just sounds like nonsense right now, but it is being spoken about. But yeah. So,
and I'm one of those people. I'm one Irfan, what I'm into and what I'm not into. I'm not into technology like that. I know some people are very techie and they know what's out there. I'm not like that. I don't need the latest phone. I don't need the latest iPad. I'm not like that. But the negativity of that is I'm not aware of a lot of the stuff that is just out there, and you need to know about what's in tomorrow's future.
They're predicting it to be fairly soon. It was in the grand scheme of things, and maybe he says 5 or 10 years, but who knows if that's true. Obviously, it wouldn't jump straight to that place. It'd be to the part of resolving brain injury and things like that. But the safe state, do you think it's kind of, in a sense, going against Allah's plan, his nature, and you're putting a saved state into it body? Don't you think so?
There's a verse of the Quran, a number of verses. وَلَا تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِعِلْمٍ. Don't go after and don't put yourself in the realm of those things that you don't have any knowledge about. I really don't know what the safe state is. I really haven't studied it, but what I get from my minuscule exposure is big government controlling people, right?
Oh, my safe state.
Safe state. What is that?
So safe state basically means you save your current state that you're in.
Safe state.
SAVE.
Save.
So like in a game, you're in a certain level and you press save. So when you come back, you're there already. So us right now, you with your experiences, you can save that. You with me?
Yeah, that's a big one, brother. I used to hear about people who would die and then they freeze them or something like that For an example, just an example. They would freeze them or something, and they expect to be brought back to life so many years later. People were, looking into that technology, and I'm sure it's still out there. It's been advanced. So what does Islam say about these things? Those are big issues, man. Probably a bit bigger than like my size, because I don't know much about what the reality is. I haven't studied it. I haven't studied what scholars of Islam said about that. Nah, I am not the type of person who I'm an armchair sheikh and I'm just going to kick the woolly bobo and just whenever it come to my... Our religion is not like that. Like I said, don't talk about those things that you don't know about. You don't have any knowledge about. You talk about what you know about and get knowledge about the things that you're ignorant about and talk about it with knowledge. But it's a daunting situation that we're facing, brother.
It is very daunting.
I'm going to start to really, this podcast, what it's done for me, I think that it's really time for me to start exposing myself to this cat, Elon Musk. Not because he's a celebrity, but I did see a few interviews with him where he came across as different.
He's very different.
He came across as not like even that other guy, the richest man in the world, Gates. Bill Gates came across as being a nice guy. His wife seemed nice. But when all of this stuff came, vaxxers and all this vaccine, and he became part of the conspiracy, has a lot of negativity attributed to him. I don't know the truth of that or not, but a lot of those guys are so rich that they do seem to have some information that if you look at them, you can learn from them. Just this morning, I read this thing. I don't know if it's true or not, but it was impactful. They said that the guy Steve Jobs, some words that he wrote or said before he died. And there's one that he has $7 billion when he checked out. So how much is not in his vocabulary. But he has suffered from cancer and they couldn't save him. And he just talked about what life really meant to him. He was telling how you have to hold on to those real things, the tangible things. Loving and taking care of the people who mean something to you. Leaving behind a legacy that is positive. Don't hurt people. And I was really impressed with it. I don't know if someone wrote that and just put it out there. But Elon Musk seems like a dude who has something to say.
His ideas have never been heard of before. Like the things that he's discussing and ideas, like the things that he wants to achieve are crazy.
Is he a geek type of?
I think he was programming at the age of 12 or something like that. So yeah, he's always been like considered a genius, but these ideas had never been heard of before. So I found it quite interesting, which is why I listened to it. And who knows if it'll happen or not, but I thought it'd be worth mentioning in this podcast. So
no, that's cool, man.
I don't know everything, but I'm trying to learn. Like you said, you're going to look more into it.
I will say this, and I thank you for like really inspiring me now, because I don't read a lot of English stuff, but I think I should start looking into that. I would say this to you and some of our brothers and sisters, everybody. As Muslims, we have to have filters. I am a person who, I'm a black nationalist. As a person who cares about what happens to black people, Africa, our history, what's happening to us right now, and so forth. But I have filters. I know as a Muslim, it's not about black. It's about the Deen. So if black people came against the religion, I'm going to be against them. For an example, I won't go to Egypt and say, mashallah, look what Africans did. Because Allah destroyed Pharaoh. So I have filters. Pharaoh is not my brother. So not to get too far out, but Obama is an African-American president. He did some amazing things. His character, the way he was cool. He's not like this guy Biden and others. He was a cool guy. But I have filters. That man bombed and killed and sent drone missiles, technology, unmanned missiles, and he killed more Muslims than any president in America. So because he's a black president, is going to override what I know about him and what he did to Muslims in Islam? No, I have to have filters. Same thing. You look into these issues, Elon Musk, I have filters. Everything he said, I'm not going to take everything he said. I'm going to weigh it with what Allah and his messages said. Technology. I just can't jump into the ocean and say, this is revelation. No. You have to have filters about the information that we receive, who we like and who we don't like, who are our heroes and examples, you know, things like that.
Yeah, I think one thing that you say a lot is just take it in your stride. So as this stuff starts to come out, try to stay knowledgeable on it and try to do what's best for you.
Yeah, I think that's really important, man. I'm going to start checking it out. I start off with exposing myself to my man, my homie, Elon.
Yeah.
Elon, yeah.
It's a good place to start.
You send me some things that you think are like, did he do anything on TED TV?
TED Talks. I
TED
don't know.
Talk.
I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen. He might have. But I was on about the one where he did a podcast and they were just talking for like an hour and it just.
I saw him doing a podcast with a lot of people out there, like 2 or 3. I didn't watch the whole thing. Not a podcast. There was an audience there and he was just talking. And I found him interesting, man. He seemed like he was his own thinker and he was dancing and walking to his own beat. He was marching to his own beat. But in reality, in these countries, the way the world is, no one is going to be totally free and independent. Mm-hmm. They're going to keep a cap on everybody because that's how it is. They don't want people to be free thinkers and they don't want anybody to buck the system. They don't want anybody. And when you buck the system, you wind up in prison like that dude Assange.
Who's that?
WikiLeaks.
I have no idea.
WikiLeaks.
Okay.
He started explaining these things that he was able to get, where he was finding out what governments were doing and things like that, what the media was doing, and they arrested him. But he had held himself up in some embassies and they couldn't get him at first. And I think they caught him by now. But WikiLeaks, yeah, that's what it's called, WikiLeaks. He leaked a lot of information that regular people don't even know. These people are playing chess and we're playing checkers. Mm-hmm. These people are playing snooker and we're playing, pool.
Yeah.
They're on another level, brother. And we're talking about, issues that may be important, but come on, man. You got to wake up and smell the coffee that you didn't bring here today. No Starbucks.
Inshallah, next time, definitely.
Inshallah.
But yeah, so one last thing to mention is that, guys, I don't want to scare anybody and say that this stuff's definitely going to happen. It's just that, it's good to speak about these things because it could happen. And let's just discuss it.
It is scary, though. It is scary. It is scary.
Worrying.
It is scary.
It may not happen in our lifetime, but it could happen generations from now. And just thinking of that, yeah, it is daunting. But yeah, it's just good to, fact check anything I've said. Do your own research, seek knowledge, as we always say. But yeah.
Inshallah.
Thank you very much, Sheikh.
You're welcome, my man. Keep up the good work, man.
Appreciate it. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters.